Hey guys, Dave from Nerdarchy. For nerds, by nerds, hang out with this nerd.
Nerdarchy's Ted.
And today Nerdarchy discusses beer and pretzel plots. How to use them in your game.
Hey guys, jump down to the description below where you can sign up for Nerdarchy, the newsletter. It's a great way to get gaming tips as well as learn how to game with Nerdarchy.
So this video request comes in from our buddy Kyle S. And he basically wants us to help him out with, you know, as we've already said, the beer and pretzels plots for players, but we've also affectionately referred to this as a chuckle fuck game.
Right. Typically, when you have this style of game, it's not so much about a long, drawn-out story. It's like, all right, what's fun and amusing right now? What can we do to get a laugh? What can we do that is going to just amuse us?
Long-term plots are generally useless. Your players aren't going to care. That's not what they're here for. They want to go into the tavern. They want to attack the darkness. They want to get drunk, and they want to know if there's barmaids there, and they want to do them. You know, all the worst, like, stereotypical tropes from D&D. This is kind of like that.
So when you get into this style of game, it's actually not super hard to run the style of game because you can honestly just like, all right, guys, what do you feel like doing? And it's not super important to worry about what kind of things are going to wind up happening because at the end of the day, these guys just don't care. It's more about just having fun. So make things ridiculous, make things over the top. And you can send them up against a dragon and have ridiculousness ensue well before they should be fighting that, and use a different monster set. Different stats, a stat from different monsters, just so that they got to fight a dragon early.
So the one thing I would recommend, though, is even though this is not a quote-unquote serious game, I would pick a theme and I would stick with it. I wouldn't bounce back and forth. I would try and be consistent with whatever it is you're actually doing. So Kyle also wanted some examples. So you could go with, like, Alice in Wonderland. That would be a good example of a beer and pretzels type game for the D&D setting. The GammeWorld games that we're playing more recently, that's also a pretzel and beers. You know, there's a lot of silliness that goes along with it, with some seriousness mixed in. It's actually, that particular game can actually be run serious or silly.
Yeah, that one does cover that entire threshold. But it leans closer to a beer and pretzels, however you want to play it. I feel anytime you've got a monster that wants to do something stupid or ridiculous, that's an easy way that you could put it in there. You can easily have the NPCs that are tripping over themselves and doing things, so you can work with ogres, you can work with goblins, you can work with kobolds, and it works very, very easily into that type of situation. Kobolds Ate My Baby, I don't even know what edition it's currently in, is entirely a beer and pretzels game, and you could go in that general vein of, okay, well, you got to go out and capture the baby or go capture humans to feed to the King Torg. All hail King Torg. And that'll be just that's an easy way of getting into a plot. So depending upon whether you want to have a good party, a neutral party, an evil party, you can go in a lot of different directions with this style of game.
Now, our friend Nelson from Infinite Roleplay has another YouTube channel. He's, for the past, I want to say, year or so, has been actually designing his own RPG based off of 5th edition Dungeons and Dragons, and he calls it Saturday Morning Cartoons. I've actually played early on in one of his play tests, and the premise is it's 5th edition Dungeons and Dragons, but kind of cartoonized. You know, basically there's all the silliness you would expect from a Looney Tunes cartoon is kind of what you can expect in that game. It's not meant to be taken serious, as well as when I was a kid anyway, we would watch like A-Team, though it's not a cartoon, people are shooting at each other all the time, but no one ever really gets hurt. Same thing with, your cartoons, they're shooting guns and laser blasters at each other, but no one gets hurt.
Grenades and dynamite, they explode all over the place, and the worst that happens is like their fur is burned or singed, or you see like the little smokes of the tendrils of smoke coming off of them. If you're actually going to look this up on Drive-Thru RPG, it's Saturday Morning Tabletop RPG, or SMTT RPG if you really want to just use the letters. It's a good book. I actually picked up a copy and have started reading through it.
Yeah, so that would also be a perfect example of where you could go for less serious games. You know, cartoons that you used to watching. I would even hazard to say, I don't know, there's some bronies out there that might argue with me, but like the Brony Finder, in my opinion, would be more of that type of game.
I'm not even going to touch that one. So depending upon what you are looking to do with it, whether you're looking to do a one-shot that's just silly, or whether you're looking to do a repeat with the same set of characters in this style, it's entirely possible. Figure out what your players are looking for and give it to them. It's so much easier than running a serious game, because their attitudes at the moment are going to drive your story, or lack thereof, forward.
So one of the things Kyle asked specifically was some examples, and Ted already gave one with, basically robbing from Kobolds Ate My Baby. But if you go back to those really ridiculous tropes that we've seen over the years, and for instance, are there any girls I want to do them, right? So what do you do with that player? Well, perhaps you actually put together like an adventure, what he's got to do to impress the girl, so that she'll even talk to him.
Oh, see, I went in a whole different direction. All of the girls in town have been kidnapped.
Well, that would work. That would work as well.
So like, there's a lusty ogre or a lusty troll who last night snuck into town and stole all the girls.
So they have to break them out in order to even have a chance of talking to a girl. Or the other idea, like I said, is, perhaps there's a certain kind of favor or flower that only blooms at a certain time, at night, that they have to actually go out and get it. Or you could even totally make it a snipe hunt. And and just mess with the players or whatever. The other idea is, I want to get drunk. You can't get drunk because someone has stolen all the beer. All right, and this, I feel like with these guys, you want to use fae and more of the sillier monsters.
Boozoozes
everywhere. No, they'd be so happy if they had a boozooz, they could get drunk. But and then you could do something like you could have a rival tavern. You have to establish that they have a favorite tavern first, right? Which shouldn't be too hard. So you might use this adventure down the road. But once you've established that they've got their cheers, right? They then, some of you guys probably don't know what I'm talking about.
I was about to say the exact same thing.
Go search that on YouTube. Cheers. But anyway, so they go to their favorite watering hole and there's no beer. Well, because one of the rival taverns has actually had it all stolen, and now they have to get it back before they can get drunk off of their favorite beer. Or you can go in a totally different direction. The proprietor of their favorite tavern has passed away, and he's the only one that brews a certain type of beer.
You could have an issue where they're watering down the beer, so people aren't getting drunk. So typically, if they've established that their favorite watering hole, all right, it takes 3 or 4 beers to get drunk. Well, you've had 5, 6, 7. You're still not drunk. What's going on? What
do you do about this villainy? So with my idea with the tavern owner that has passed away, but perhaps there was a will that was stolen, or the recipe is secreted away somewhere, and you could actually do like an adventure right in the tavern where they're trying to find this lost recipe.
You could also anywhere in this vein, you could always Scooby-Doo it. Scooby-Doo would be a good beer and pretzels situation.
Yeah, any of the plots from that would work as well. So you guys, let us know in the comments below, when you run a beer and pretzel style game, what does that look like? While you're at it, like, share, and subscribe.
Don't forget to hang out with us over on Facebook.
So until next time,
stay nerdy.